presenting Channeling Erik's Hour of Enlightenment.
Oh my goodness, I am so excited. I know you guys are too because we blasted this all over social media. This is Elisa, and we got Michelle. We have our wonderful medium Michelle Gray, my co-host, and
hello,
and of course the little rascal Erik. But we also have producer and author Stephen Simon joining us, and I just feel so honored. He, is the author and producer of the Academy Award-winning What Dreams May Come, and I swear to God, I loved that one. I watched it in the big screen. And he also has a new book, What Dreams Have Come, Loving Through the Veil. And I can understand that. With him is his lifelong partner, wife Lauren, who has transitioned, but has not really, guys, love knows no boundaries, even death. And I'm sure, Simon, you can speak to that, right? And we have Lauren here, too. So welcome both.
Well, thank you, guys. I'm really very happy to be with you. This has been quite a journey with the book. And you want me to go back and talk about how it began?
It's all you, Simon. Go ahead, Stephen. It's all you. I almost called you Simon. It's all you.
Well, as Elisa said, my life has really been pointed, I think, towards this moment. Honestly, I think this is the culmination of my life's work. When I go back and look at the business projects, which are so much of my heart, that I have been involved with, that have meant the most to me. Somewhere in Time, which was my first film as a producer, and a film that is very close to me. And what's Somewhere in Time about? It's about a man who falls in love with a woman and has to travel through time to find her, and at the end of the film, they're together beyond the veil. What Dreams May Come about? It's about a man searching for his wife in the afterlife so that they can actually be together. So and then I co-founded the Spiritual Cinema Circle, which we operated for 16 years, where we sent out 4 movies a month to our subscribers that were, uplifting, spiritually uplifting films. And so the tragedy that happened for me and for everyone, they lose their loved one. And Lauren and I had both been married twice before we met each other. Both of us had absolutely committed that we were never, ever, ever going to be married again. She had 2 kids. I had 3 kids. And we met in a movie theater in a small town in Oregon. And literally, we took one look at each other. And later on, we laughed about this. The first thought we both had was, with me, it was, oh my goodness, there she is. And with her, it was, oh my goodness, there he is. And we laughed about it because we realized that everything in our lives was pointing us toward that moment. And we got married, had the happiest period of time, certainly of my life, 5 kids. And it was an extraordinary experience. And we were together 24/7. Unfortunately, in 2016, Lauren got stage 3 thyroid cancer. And had to have both of her. Lauren was a marathon runner when I met her. And I've never known anybody to be as into exercise and running as Lauren was. It destroyed her. It destroyed her health, and her health continued to decline. She went through radiation treatments, which I am convinced is what actually led to her transition. But interestingly enough, 3 months before she transitioned, we were told by her doctor that she was completely free of the thyroid cancer, which I totally believe. He's a terrific doctor, and he was.
Right.
But I came home from an early morning gym experience and found that she had transitioned in her sleep. And it was certainly the most devastating moment of my life, and everyone who has this understands what that moment is like.
I definitely do. Yeah, it's horrible.
I completely fell apart. For the next 2 months, I was a complete basket case. And it really just turned my life upside down. And Lauren and I had talked about this a lot. Lauren is a very spiritual being. I've always been on a very spiritual path, and we actually talked about this. And Lauren, a few months before she transitioned, one night, Lauren used to channel from time to time for both of us. And she said, hey, we need to design our afterlife experience. But I really want to talk about the way we want it to be. And we did. And she said, you got to write it down. I will always believe, and I'm pretty sure now, that she did know that something was coming. But I just needed to be in touch. And we talked about how we would do that. But for 6 weeks, I could not connect with her. And then, as we wrote in the books, it happened one night in a very particular way, and I knew it was Lauren. I completely knew it was Lauren. And now when Lauren is here with me, I always know, well, I shouldn't say that because then she's going to correct me. Sometimes I don't know, but most of the times I do. And I want to say what that communication is like, because a lot of people have asked me about that. Do I hear her voice? Absolutely not. I can't, because her body is gone. You know, there's no way that I can hear her voice, because that body does not exist anymore. She was cremated. So what do I feel? The best way I can describe it to people is that I feel her words in my heart. And in the book, we talk a lot about people being in their heart. There was a moment in those first 6 weeks when I was, and it goes on, I mean, it's been 3.5 years now. And I still have moments of grief at one point or another every day. There's always something. But
absolutely, I know. I hear you. Same with me.
During that period of time, it was incredibly comforting for me. And then we just started a dialogue, as I said in the book. And eventually, one night, I was so completely distraught. I called a dear friend, Neil Donald Walsh, who wrote the Conversations with God
Love
book.
him.
And Neil has been a dear friend of mine for 20 years, and my brother from another mother, as we always used to say. And it took me a long time to get the words out, and bless Neil, he was so patient, and he waited. And I said, Neil, I'm out of my mind with grief. And he had such a typical Neil answer. He said, that's good. That's good. That's very good. You need to be out of your mind and in your heart. Be there. Be there. And that is what this is. And so we talk about the moment in the book in which this actually became a book. And it became a book when I was having dinner with Neil and his wife, which I won't get into that long story, but it is in the book. And I realized that we needed to write this book, and we needed to write it together, which is we did. And the book is now out. And it has been so encouraging for me, because really when you get down to it, the biggest reason we wrote this book is so that people would understand, who go through this experience, that you're not alone and you're not crazy. There are way too many people who have this experience. And in the book, we lay out, I give an email address for people if they want to get in touch with me to share their experiences. And I promise I would never, ever no one would ever read those emails except for me, and no one has access to them except for me. And the amount of people that have actually been in touch with me that have said, now I feel better, because, you've been working in this field, you've made well-known movies, people know the movies if they don't know you, and it makes me feel better. And then over the last week, I've had 2 different people tell me that they now are writing the book that they've always wanted to write but didn't have the courage to do it before. So it's really been an incredible adventure.
Clearly, Stephen, you and Lauren are light workers. serving humanity in such a profound way, you know?
Oh, there is no question about that.
I bet you anything they're part of one of the big angelic projects, like with Veronica, Guardians of Veronica or Ariel or Astro. There's a lot of big angelic projects that that a very small handful of human beings on this planet are a part of. That, and I bet you anything, Erik, is he one of is he and Lauren one of the part of one of the big angelic projects that are being overseen by one of the more powerful guardian angels?
Erik says yes. He says Project Earth.
Project Victory Earth. Oh, that's Veronica.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and he says that they're representative. They're under the dominion of Archangel Michael, and that they also are. He says their connection. So they've done similar type of. He says like spiritual work in other life, and he says many lifetimes.
Oh.
He says this is a very big one, particularly because they had committed to doing this in this lifetime at this specific time. And Erik is agreeing with you, Stephen, and saying that everything has led up until this point. It has all been amounting to this point, and it's a very important message, a very deep and passionate message about an extraordinary connection that has led to a very extraordinary connection that knows no bounds, that, yes, many people do experience and don't have the courage to be able to say, is this really happening? Or am I losing my mind? Am I really, am I really speaking to the one that I love, that I feel that I've lost? And Erik says this is so important. Such important work.
Well, I know, I understand, because I went through the same thing. Is this really, maybe I'm just trying to make myself feel better? Maybe I'm just imagining, that sort of thing. People struggle with that because we can't see spirits. They're not in the visible range of the electromagnetic spectrum. And the more depressed we are, the lower the vibrational frequency we are in that visible range, and the harder it is for our loved ones to kind of reach us because they vibrate at such a high frequency. Stephen, do you know some of your other lives you've had with Lauren? Have you already found out, or do you want Erik to tell you one of the biggies?
No, we do. We're very aware of those. This is something we talk about, and I know that Lauren and I have been together for a very long time. Not in every lifetime, but several different lifetimes, and we talked about that a lot when Lauren was still physical. And it did lead to this. I know this is very important work. And I know, look, I'm 75 years old. I've been making movies for 45 years. Yeah. And I'm no longer actively making movies. Frankly, I'm too damn old for it. Okay? There was a wonderful director named John Hughes who was asked how long he was going to direct movies, and he said, as long as my knees hold out. But it's a great answer. It's a great answer. This really now, this book and encouraging people that we're at this particular time when a lot of things obviously are changing. The world has never been through what it's been through the last 18 months, ever. Right. All of this, and I'm not just talking about the pandemic. I'm talking about everything. The splitting of opinions, the splitting of families. Now it's vaccinated and unvaccinated. There's so many things that are going on that there is a big shift on, and I think that one of them, and certainly our corner of that, what I might call our corner, is people encouraging people that you can have these conversations, and we talk a lot in the book about how do you know. Such an interesting process, because you brought up the fact that people are saying, oh, am I crazy? I'm afraid to say this because my friends will think I'm crazy, et cetera. How do you know? The answer is trust your heart. Yes. And we talk a lot about that in the book. This is not a head thing. Our brains are computers. and that is what they are.
Mm-hmm.
Our hearts. There was a wonderful movie many years ago called Bandits, and there's a great line in it where Cate Blanchett plays a character who talks about your heart, and the line is, "The heart is a mysterious organ. It plays by its own rules." And I think so accurate. You know, a lot of times we're feeling emotions and we say, "I can't find the words," because there are none.
Right.
Yeah.
There are none.
We don't have it. It's the language of the heart. And you're so
It is
right.
the language of, and that's a big change for a lot of people. It's a big switch to be able to, say, "I trust my heart." What does that mean? Well, work on it. When you feel it, it eventually will be something that becomes easier and easier and easier. So, it's just an amazing journey.
Well, I want to talk to Lauren too, but let me say this. What I've learned.
I want to think about this. I want to say one thing about talking to Lauren.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I don't channel Lauren.
No, that's fine.
And I can't speak for her.
No. I was wondering if Michelle could channel her for us, but we don't have to. If she wants to, that's fine. If you don't want to, that's cool. No problem.
No, it's not something that either one of us feel comfortable about.
All right,
this is
it's
a very personal relationship between Lauren and myself, and it's something that we want to keep in that way.
Yes, that makes
and
sense.
Not have it go into other areas. This is a very personal experience between Lauren and myself.
And it should be. But living, we can have a choice of living our life in fear or living it in love. And if you want to live it in fear, that's all brain, that's all the computer, right? Living your life in love, that's where you really have to live through your heart consciousness, like you're saying, like you and Lauren are saying. Can you tell us more details about the book, Stephen?
Excuse me?
Can you say some more about your new book?
Sure. So the book is really we talk about what happened, and then there's a lot of dialogue between Lauren and myself. And every single word that I wrote down of what Lauren transmitted to my heart is, I believe and I hope, accurately portrayed in the book. I also think that people will be glad to hear, and maybe a little surprised to hear, that there's humor in it, because the biggest Lauren wrote me a card once when she was still physical that said, "Teasing you is my greatest joy, and you are my greatest love."
Oh.
And this happens with a lot of couples, and we laughed a lot at me. Oh, did we laugh a lot at me? And I gave her, because I do this all the time, I give people such great material to laugh at me, which is fine.
I do too.
I really think that that's one of the things that, certainly in America, unfortunately, we have as a country lost our sense of humor.
Yeah.
You can't laugh at things anymore. You have to be careful about what you laugh at and what you don't laugh at and stuff like that. And people are so highly sensitized. I love Lauren teases me all the time, and you can see that in the book. That's awesome. That it is still her favorite pastime, and we go through that, and then we talk an awful lot also about what is this world we're walking around in.
Yeah.
Is this the real world? Or is the other side of the veil the real world, and this is the illusion?
Yeah, that's a big question. So what's the answer? Oh, we had to find that out ourselves, I guess, huh?
Well, I'm not sure that I know what my heart's answer is, and I know what Lauren's heart's answer is, but it doesn't mean it's the truth, because nobody can prove it one way or the other. But we both believe that that this is the illusion and the other side is the real world. And, it's very interesting that quantum physics over the last 5 years, almost all the work in quantum physics is just on that subject. Is this an illusion?
Reality. We've created this reality. Our spirit, our true essence, that's collapsing the Schrodinger wave equation, changing waves into photons and creating our own reality. So yeah, I that's why I think that we have created this illusion around us. Yeah.
Well, that's great. I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, it's so much fun to be able to talk to somebody that has feelings, about things. And these are our feelings. Obviously, when someone is skeptical and says, well, do you have any proof? The conversation's over.
Oh, I know.
Because once you're asked for proof, then you can't. I can't prove this. And, I had someone ask me recently, Stephen, can you absolutely 100% guarantee our listeners that this is real? And I said, no, I can't.
Of course not.
I'm 99 and 9/10% sure that it's real. But if I'm going to be honest, if you're saying, could I possibly be making all of this up to comfort myself? I can't 100% tell you no. I can tell you 99 and 9/10% no. But if I'm honest, I can't. And I think that's one of the great feelings of this, is that we can't, quote, prove it, unquote, to a doubting mind. But that's not what we're here to do. We're not here to be spiritual. Right. I mean, I'm just talking about myself now. I'm not here to be a spiritual missionary. I'm not here to convert people. That's not. I respect everybody's opinions. Probably my dearest male friend in the world is a devout evangelical Christian. And we love each other tremendously, but we see things completely differently, which it used to be that was okay. You could still have friends that you completely disagree with, but it's about that issue, right?
Yeah.
So, this is that type of thing that we just have to be secure in our own hearts, that for us, we know, but in the outside world, everyone's going to have to make up their own mind.
Exactly. We have to honor our own truth, and that's a truth that we can find in our heart with faith. And faith is huge. And I'm not talking about Christian faith. I'm talking about faith that your heart is speaking the truth to you. So,
and that is. I'll tell you a wonderful story about that. When you
it all comes down to physics.
There are no accidents and there are no coincidences.
Exactly.
All right. So, I told you I spoke briefly about the Spiritual Cinema Circle, which we started in 2014, and then it closed in 2020 for a whole bunch of different reasons. But we had a terrific 16 years, and when we were doing the circle, everything that we sent out to our subscribers was meant to uplift them. We would record our conversations, because what happened is that every time we would do a month of films, we would send out 3 shorts and a feature, and I would do a discussion with a guest or something on camera about the films that we talked, so we could have a conversation about it. On November 3rd of 2011, we'd been married 5 years, I had a heart attack, and my heart stopped 4 different times. Twice in the house when the EMTs got there and revived me, once in the ambulance and once actually going into the hospital. When your heart stops 4 different times, the survival rate is less than 1%.
Oh, God, yeah.
And I survived.
Gosh.
The next day, I was in ICU, and Lauren was in there with me, and the woman who I operated the Spiritual Cinema Circle with for years, Anna, who's a dear, dear friend, wanted to talk to me and got a hold of Lauren, and Lauren, handed me the cell phone, and Anna said, "Do you know what got sent out yesterday?" And I said, I don't, what? And she said, Volume 11 this year. We sent it to our subscribers yesterday. Do you remember what the feature is? And all of a sudden I remembered what the feature was. It was called Listen to Your Heart.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, goosebumps.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is. There are sometimes things, the universe is not so subtle.
Yeah. Especially with us stubborn people. It can first knock us with a feather, then a little ball peen hammer, and then eventually a sledgehammer. So, yeah. So you are a funny guy. I mean, I am such a fan of the Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure, that whole thing. And you're responsible for that.
Oh, now we're going to get down to it. I can always tell who I'm talking to in an audience. But when I talk about What Dreams May Come, it's like, yeah, okay. Somewhere in Time, yeah, okay. Bill and Ted, yeah, dude, party on. You know, people get very excited.
I loved that. I loved it. It was so uplifting. Tell me about why that was part of your spiritual path. If there was any real portrait, that's what I'm talking about. Tell us about that.
I have to tell you, looking back on it, I actually didn't. If I remember correctly, this is a long time ago. This is now the 80s. I read that script because it was written by the son of Richard Matheson, who wrote the book and the screenplay for Somewhere in Time, and also wrote the book of What Dreams May Come, who was a dear friend. And those guys, Chris and his partner Ed, had submitted the Bill and Ted script to their agents. It's a typical Hollywood story, by the way. And their agents had said, this is so bad that we're not going to send it out to anybody because you'll never get work again. So they were crushed, and Richard said, before they throw it away, will you please read it? And I said, yeah. Well, I've never laughed harder reading a script than I laughed at that.
So amazing.
And I said, your agents are crazy. You need new agents. And I sold it the next day.
Wow.
But I really
the same people that panned Coneheads, which I also love. So.
Was that the Dan Aykroyd movie?
Yeah, I loved it. But anyway, so why?
Yeah, I don't remember that movie that well. I don't remember it that well. But Bill and Ted was a lot of fun. And it was, and I think say something about it does have that element, time travel in it and like that. But I always saw Bill and Ted as just a really fun comedy.
Yeah, it's great.
Uplifting and funny. Uplifting and funny.
I'm going to watch those tonight.
And we won't.
What Dreams May Come was absolutely my favorite, and I know a lot of people listening have seen that, and we're very touched by that story too. So,
thank you. Yeah,
that's a big one. Colors. I mean, the
Dreams was a 20-year journey in my life. Richard gave me the galleys for the book when we were in prep to shoot Somewhere in Time. And I remember reading that book in one night and calling him and saying, I've got to find a way to get this movie made, Richard. It's not going to be easy. It's going to take a long time. But I will not ever stop until I get it made. And that's a whole conversation. That's a whole hour by itself about how that film, all the near misses we had and everything else. But at the end of the day, I'm really, really proud of that movie because, boy, did we ever push the envelope.
Yeah, that's really the heart of you have such a courageous heart to do that, especially back then. Now maybe it's a little easier, but it kind of reminds me of Erik's book that we channeled, My Life After Death, a Memoir from Heaven, because he does also take the reader on his journey from moments before his death to his death, crossing over, visiting his funeral, all that kind of stuff, life review, and just what the afterlife is like, at least for him. The bark, how it was alive with the different kind of creatures. The sky was just everything so different, and buildings made of actual spirits, and just very, very interesting. I mean, it just almost takes out all the mystery of death, really, in the afterlife. But it kind of reminds me.
And that's it is a wonderful thing for all of us. I will tell you that at this stage in my life, I have absolutely no fear of death. I'd rather not have it be a painful one, but because I know that, as Lauren's surrogate mother said to me when I was saying, all I really want is for Lauren to be there at the end, and she said, be there at the end. Stephen, if you're in bed somewhere, she's going to be standing over you, grabbing you, and saying, it's about time. Let's get out of here. So I you have these feelings and you know that your loved one, and I want to say that for a lot of people, this is not a husband or a wife. You know, it
Right.
may be a mother, it may be a daughter, it may be a grandchild, you know, it may be somebody like that. It doesn't just have to be that kind of romantic love, because we all kinds of connections in the world, and this is certainly an area where the connections are heart-based. They aren't logic-based, and I know a lot of people are going through that as well, particularly after this last 18 months.
Yeah, with COVID, so many people have lost loved ones to COVID, and you know, senseless. There's a lot of resentment and anger involved in those kind of deaths, and so I just can't wait to get your book and read it. And y'all, where can we get it? Because I think people should buy several copies and give them away to people in pain or people, just anybody. Seriously, this is.
Oh my goodness! Thank you so much for that. It is available exclusively at Amazon. We published this book ourselves, and we decided that from day one that we weren't even going to think about another publisher, because I know if I tried to do that, well, we need to change this and we need to change that, and hey guys, you know what? I'm not going to change the words that we spoke to each other in the experience that we had. And so it is available exclusively on Amazon. You can go to Amazon and just click in What Dreams Have Come, not What Dreams May Come, which is the film. Or you can go, you can go to our website, which is whatdreamshavecome.com, and all the information about the book is there.
That's awesome. You know, what you just said reminded me of my experience with the Simon & Schuster publisher that published My Life After Death. You know, it's all channeled, word for word. I typed out every little thing that Jamie Butler came out of her mouth, and I knew it was him because he curses like a sailor. So apparently the first time when he crossed over, he looked at where his body should have been. He said, "Oh, my God, where's my dick?" Oh, no, they wouldn't have that. They said, no, we have to change that to the word penis. I said, I'm sorry, there's no way he would say penis. What about prick? No way. He's going to say dick. He said dick, and we're keeping the word dick in that paragraph. So from that point forward, they said, okay, we're not going to change anything. So.
I can't beat that.
You can't beat that with it. I bet you can, Stephen. Do you mind if we take calls?
And I wouldn't even try.
I'm sure people would like to hear more about your story, too. Is that okay if we take callers?
Sure.
Okay. All right. You guys get some wonderful questions for Stephen. I know they're going to want to ask Erik some questions too, but let's go ahead and start with the 571 area code. Hi there, how are you doing?
Hi.
What can we do for you?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes,
okay, great. Oh, good. Hi, Stephen. I was just looking up your book. It looks wonderful. I think I may order it on Amazon. So I'm happy that you were able to be in contact with your wife. That's what a pleasure that is.
Yes.
Well, I hope you appreciate it, and I hope it touches you. And again, please be in touch after you've read the book. It's something I really look forward to readers being in touch with me and letting me know what they feel about it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, of course. Thank you. I will. Although I have a question actually for Erik, and it's about my son, Kyle, who's, after his brother passed, my son, Stephen, his name's Stephen, too, with a PH, Kyle's never been really that well afterwards, and I was just wondering if there's something going on in him, because he doesn't get out of bed, and he's 27 years old.
Well, maybe he needs to read Stephen Simon's book. I'm wondering. No, I mean, people are nuts here for a reason. But Erik, what can we do for Kyle?
You know, the first thing that Erik is saying about Kyle is he says that he has a purpose with service for other people and helping other people. And a lot of what he has experienced, with grief, part of that is a catalyst for him. But to help him, to get through this grief or through this period of grief, he has purpose with this.
Okay. Yeah, but Stephen died 7 years ago, and Kyle doesn't like to hang out with people. He's like a hermit. He doesn't like socialization. He doesn't like working for people, customer service. He's had those jobs. He hates them because everybody's mean. And so,
well, and that's
so
the thing.
I can't see that.
He has a lot of doubt. Erik says, doubt in people. But he says that the one thing he's disconnected from any type of fun, any type of joy. Erik says if there's something that he could connect to, that he would feel some passion in, because him jumping out and wanting to do something for other people, it's not just going to happen like that. You could tell him something like that, and it's not going to make any sense to him at all. But to connect with something that he felt some sort of passion to, Erik says something that would help him get up out of bed, something that would help him feel some purpose. And so,
okay, what would that be though? Because I tried that with him. He doesn't know what he wants to do. He has no purpose, and he doesn't have any passion for anything. He just sits on the computer and then lays in bed. That's it. There's no passion for anything. I mean, I've been trying for this for years.
Yeah. Sometimes
something's
it's up to them.
Tell me what the passion is, for God's sakes. I need something here. The kids,
Well, give her some practical advice, if possible.
See, the thing is that Erik keeps saying that he's got a lot of doubt. He doesn't trust in himself. And so part of this is something that he has to work through, because he says he completely understands from a mom's perspective, and watching him go through this is completely frustrating. But he says this is something that he has to try and dig out for himself. He says that even if you were to say to him, because Erik says he would benefit from some energy work, he would benefit from some scalar work. Some of that would help him, because it would help raise his vibration a little bit. Because the thing is he's got himself in a cycle. And being in a cycle, there's a lot of things that he can do. He's got talent. He's got creativity. But he's in a cycle. And Erik says he would really benefit from any type of energy work to help lift him out of that. But he says that he would also benefit from talking to somebody.
Yeah, read Stephen's book, and maybe there's something in there, because people are nudged to these shows, like for a reason often, and there may be something there that will give you an idea.
Okay.
Okay. All right. We'll talk later. All right.
All right. Thank you.
You bet. Yeah, it's really hard. You want to help your child, but if you want to help people you love, period. But if they're on their own mission and they have to learn the spiritual lesson for themselves, and they have to struggle on their own, it's so difficult. Right, Stephen?
Yes, it is.
Oh, it definitely is. They all come in with their own personalities and their own missions, and as you can have your first child can have this personality, your next child can be a completely opposite personality, and as you said, they come in with a different mission, what they're here to do, and their soul knows. I knew from the time I was really young that I was going to be involved in the film industry. I knew it. It was just a part of my being. And so when you come in with...
Go ahead, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Now, I'm wondering if in between lives, regression, if that would help people like that, so they can okay, what am I here for? Just regressing them so their soul can lead them on that journey through that regression to their between lives moment where they were planning their life. Do you think that would be something that would help Erik and Stephen both?
Well, Erik says, Mom, he says, yeah, all of that stuff will help, but he says he has to want to do that for himself first.
Oh, yeah,
because
of course.
Right now he says that he's got a lot of creative potential, and he says there's parts to him that has to do with his spiritual mission that he's not connected to yet, but it can't be coming from anybody else to do it for him. So if he was willing to do that, Erik says if he was willing to do in between lives and do some investigating, he says, yes, that stuff would really help, but it's got to come from him. And that's the hardest part, is that cycle that he's in right now.
Of course. Okay. Well, we'll take somebody from the 714 area code. Hi there. How you doing? Anybody home? Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
My name's Maggie.
Hi, Maggie.
Good, thank you. Hi. You know, I'm really sorry. I didn't really know anything about Stephen. I just looked him up really quick. And it's funny, what I want to ask is that I love my dreams, and I can communicate with people in my dreams, and I absolutely love it. And since COVID, we've been socializing a lot with family, and I always fall asleep at the same time, like at 8 o'clock. And my mother-in-law thinks that might be a problem. But I'm thinking, I don't think I have narcolepsy. I just love my sleep pattern, and I get these dreams. So I don't know if that is narcolepsy, which I don't really believe it is. It's just,
I can imagine.
I'm able to get dreams.
Maybe that's your thing, journeying through your dreams, learning through your dreams, communicating with the others on the other side, communicating with your higher self, communicating with your spirit guides. I don't know. I mean, Stephen and Erik, this would be a great question for both of you guys.
So Erik's just saying hi, and he just says, he first of all just wants to say to you, does it feel good to do that? Yeah, he goes, there's your answer. There's your answer.
Yeah.
He goes, not narcolepsy.
And, you know, you have to, you almost have to fight everybody because they think I'm crazy. I'm like, oh, leave me alone. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, and he says, and that's the key here. He goes, it makes you happy. It's what feels good to you. And he says, and you're getting something from it. And he says, so this is a time to just say, hey, thanks for caring about me. Thanks for your words, but you know how it makes you feel inside. And he goes, keep doing what works.
Great.
I agree. That sounds like, Stephen, what do you think?
I literally spent,
I mean, you have a movie about dreams, although they're a little bit different. Anything you want to add to that, Stephen?
Well, only that I know that people who have a creative bent often get messages and inspirations in their dreams. And I know certainly with some of the projects that I have worked on in my life, I have certainly had that same experience. For me, dreams can be very prophetic, and they can be very comforting. That's really all I would say about that.
No, that's a pretty good thing to say, because you're so right. I mean, and also people channel in their dreams, and maybe, Maggie, maybe you're doing that too. So just tell those naysayers, be quiet. I'm about to take a NyQuil. I'm going to go to bed. No, I'm kidding. Don't take it.
Lauren. By the way, Lauren.
Most of the morning.
Lauren, when she was physical, and she still does it in a whole different way, but Lauren was quite a gifted intuitive. And she passed life regressions. That was something that Lauren loved to be able to do. So I'm very familiar with this world. I don't know if living with an intuitive is a very, very interesting thing for people who have not had that experience. When your wife is sitting across from you and she says, you haven't heard from your friend Michael in a long time, have you? And I said, no. And she said, he's about to call. And the phone rang.
Oh, my gosh.
And it's a very interesting experience now with her, particularly now with her on the other side of the veil.
That is fantastic.
Wow.
You know, we have a dear friend that he was having a lot of trouble after 9/11, et cetera, and you know he's a medium, and so we befriended him because he had nobody. He was a very lonely man, and so we had him come to our Friday night family get-togethers. And my son Lucas knew he was a psychic medium. He's like so nervous. Went upstairs. Oh my God, he's reading my thoughts. Oh, keep your thoughts clean, Lucas. Keep them clean. That's funny. So yeah, it can be challenging to live with a psychic and basically an intuitive. Yeah. Wow. Thank you.
I know you. I'm sure you guys know of Alison Dubois, right?
Oh yes. Yeah.
So Alison is a dear friend, and when Alison and I first became friendly, I asked her about her husband. She said, "I'm married to a rocket scientist," and I was sure she meant, "Yeah, I'm married to a really bright guy."
No, it's
and
true.
I said, "Oh, really? He's really smart." And she said, "No, Stephen, he is a rocket scientist. He designs rockets for NASA."
Oh, that's funny.
So that's a very interesting couple.
I've binged the Medium series until the last one was over, and I went through a grieving period, I swear to God, because I felt like that was my family that just left me with that last episode. But go ahead, that was more to that story, huh?
Oh, I was just saying that I'm when we talk about these things, and of course Alison was really wonderful with me about this, because she said, and I think that maybe when I say this to you, you'll understand why I said what I said about Lauren being the way we do communicate, and the reason why I don't go to other mediums or other intuitives to interpret Lauren and I, and actually, honestly, one of the main reasons is that Alison very strongly warned me against it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I understand why, too. She said, "You have a very clear channel. I'm not going to tell you a damn thing, okay? You have a very clear channel, the two of you. Just keep it that way."
Yeah.
And so anyway, that's the reason why I'm hesitant to bring anybody else into this.
Of course. I totally get it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, you are telling her words with your heart, and that's enough. And that's good enough for you. It's good enough for me. Awesome. I admire that. Freaking cool. All right, got one from the 919 area code. Y'all be looking up Amazon right now as we're talking. What Dreams Have Come, Looking Through the Veil, authored by Lauren and Stephen Simon. So go ahead and be looking at that and click buy, purchase. I already did. But yeah, go ahead, 919 area code.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I'm Angela. Hi.
Hi,
and
Angela.
Lisa, you've already done my super portal work and my hormone work, so I thank you. And I did Reiki shortly after that, and they said I was wide open in a good way. So thank you. It's working. I did Jane's yesterday, and I was with Jane yesterday, and so I have a question for Erik. You had said I needed to ask my guardian angel's name and the project that I'm here for. And I also wanted to ask Erik, yesterday with Jane, I had trouble fully letting my higher self in. And that's worries me because
hard.
I've been fearful, and I wanted to know if it's...
Yeah, I had trouble with that too.
What do you think about that? Yeah, and you want it so much, and and so you finally reach out and say, "Oh my gosh, can I do this?" And then she's like, you're kind of holding her at bay a little bit, so we're going to have to work on that. And I'm like, okay, I'm willing to work on that. But I remembered, you guys are on tonight, so I wanted to ask the guardian angel question, and you said what project I'm on, because that's important to me, because I want to know my next steps. I am going to meet with Jane again, but I wanted to know if Erik had any tips. Meanwhile, like, Angela, here's what you can do. It's harder to say, just like relax. But what do you think?
It's like my higher self doesn't like me. No, I'm kidding. Mine's probably sick of me.
I'm getting rejected. I'm rejecting myself.
No, your higher self loves you. Erik says your higher self loves you and is very excited.
Yeah.
Actually, this is a really exciting time for you, because he says that there is a shift. He says you're in transition, or you're in a shift right now.
Right.
Okay, so first of all, guardian angel. So he says, interestingly, you're right under the Project Earth. He keeps saying Earth. So is
it Project Victory Earth? Because Yeah, let me tell you that is the I also have the guardian angel Veronica, and it's really rare. It's like in Project Victory Earth, there are, and of course Stephen and Lauren seem like they're part of this. Of course, you can channel your heart for that, Stephen. Only 7,500 humans on the planet that are part of this big angelic Project Victory Earth, designed to help with ascension of the planet and humanity, basically. Does that ring true to you, Simon?
I'm sorry, say again?
Simon, does that ring true to you, Stephen, that you and Lauren are could be part of Project Victory Earth, which is 7,500 humans that are part of this angelic project called Project Victory Earth, designed to help with the ascension of the planet and humanity? Does that ring true?
I hope so. I really hope so. You know, I'm very leery sometimes about that type of thing, because how can I explain this? As I've said before, I don't feel like I am a metaphysical missionary, and when we wrote this book, we were very conscious of the fact that this was not going to be a mainstream book.
Right.
Because the thinking and the feeling in it and the experience in it is anything but mainstream. So what I have always, what Dreams May Come was made for people who would relate to it. Somewhere in Time was made for people who would relate to it. This book, and so whether there's 7,500 or 75,000 or 7.5 million, I don't really myself pay a lot of attention to, because I don't think, I'm going to speak for me now, that I'm here to change the world. That I've never felt that. And we talked about that a lot with the Spiritual Cinema Circle.
Well, we are all.
My work is really about, I hope, is about inspiring people to become that change. You know, what was that wonderful phrase from Gandhi? Be the change you want to see in the world.
Right.
And what I'm hoping is that the work I've done, and now the work that Lauren and I have done, will encourage people that there is magic out there, and there's magic in your heart, and you can do all of this stuff yourself. Lauren stopped seeing clients because she said to me, honey, I really think I've taken people as far as I can. They need to take it from here. I don't want them to count on me. You know, I want them to be able to do this and trust themselves. So I think that's where we see ourselves.
Stephen, I'll just share with you and say that Erik is agreeing with you and just saying that this is exactly it. It's not about being out there mainstream. It's about doing your part in your corner of the world. And so it's not to be part of something, he says. It's a label.
Are you guys hearing a chime back there?
No, that's my daughter. She keeps trying to FaceTime me, and I finally put radio.
I thought that was very weird. But he's
hey, we all know that experience.
I know. He says that, what you do.
So you might be changing the world, Stephen, just through inspiration, you and Lauren.
It's in your own way, because he says exactly what you're doing right now. It's because he says it's often it's a very humble experience, and it doesn't mean that you're out on a great big platform and putting something out for millions of people to be part of this. It's a chain effect, he says. But I will say something else too that you said, Stephen, that you commented that Lauren said, and this rings very true for me, and I think this is important to say that. Something that Erik works with me and has taught me that I believe in very strongly is that I'm here to help other people connect for themselves.
Good.
And so it should come to a point where they don't need me anymore. That I'm here to help show you, to help you listen to your heart. To
work yourself out of a job.
That if you need it. That's right. And that's what it is. Because we can all do this for ourselves, and that's the most important thing. So just to get back to our caller here,
yes, we didn't forget
about the higher self, because we haven't forgotten about you. So Erik is saying that this this is a really big piece of trust for you, because he says that you want to be able to sit and practice before you have your next session, and that he says sit and practice and put yourself in a state where you're calm. He says, because the hard part is the mind, the expectation, am I hearing it right? And he says, and this really is about the body. It's what are you feeling? He says, try to connect with your higher self with using your body. Higher self, we're sitting down together, I'm calm. Can you allow me to feel the presence? Because your higher self is always connected, never disconnected, and will always be there. And feel for some subtleties in your body, because you're very body concentrated, so you can feel a lot in the body, so play with that. Erik says really play with what your strongest suit is. So feel it in your body.
The easiest thing that I've learned, because I have a higher self that must hate me by now. Gosh, she's a pain. But no, I know that's not true. But it's like ask it yes or no questions and see what it feels like. Maybe it feels like it's up and down in the pranic tube. This, certain feelings that you can get just by practicing simple. Is my hair blue? What is my underwear purple? Whatever. Simple little things.
Yes. Right. Yes. And that's exactly it. And feeling that's a great one, Elisa.
I appreciate that because when I was talking, I appreciate that. When I was talking to her, and I was going through and we were trying to, and I did contact, the higher self. I was just, like you said, keeping her a little bit higher than she would have liked to have been. And they said, that's okay because, you have free will and we won't go beyond that. And for some reason, I'm taking baby steps, but I'm doing a big shift.
Good. Okay.
So that's exactly what you guys are saying. So I appreciate that. But is my guardian angel the same as Elisa's then? Do I have Veronica because I'm under the earth, or is there a name that I could, have?
I'm actually getting that you have Ariel.
Oh, Ariel. Okay. I think that's Project Unity. Ariel. Can't remember. But anyway, it's all in name. It's, you know how they don't really like.
Thank you so much.
Names over there.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Anyway, just labels
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's close off the show by saying thank you, Stephen Simon and Lauren Simon for all the wonderful work you've done. You are truly, a beautiful spark of light in humanity, and I actually feel a lot of love for you right now. I really do.
Yes.
So I just want to
thank you. I accept it with gratitude.
That's wonderful. I'm buying my copy as soon as we get off, Stephen. I can't wait to read it.
It's coming. Mine's coming September 2nd. Everybody buy a copy, please. All right, thank you.
Guys, please let me know. And this has been an enormous amount of fun for me. Thank you both for inviting me in.
That's what you did. You like to comment about the dick. I'm kidding. Erik.
Oh yeah, that's. Listen, to me, that's the highlight of the show.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't think you to talk like that. Well, kind of I did. But
hey, anyway. As I said, we have to laugh. There is a wonderful phrase that goes back even older than I am. It goes back to Voltaire in the 1700s. And it's one of my favorite sayings, which is, God is a comedian playing to an audience that is afraid to laugh.
Oh, I love that. Wow.
Yes.
That's awesome. And also,
what an awesome note to end on.
Yeah, but we can't forget Michelle Gray at thehealing8-arts.com. I love you, Michelle.
Thank you.
I love you, Erik. And now, the new love of my life, Stephen Simon. Thank you so much for all the work you've done. I really am very grateful. We're all grateful. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Love you, Mama. Love you, everybody. Love you, Stephen. Thanks for being here. And love you, everybody listening. We'll talk to you again next week.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye.